From fabulous Los Angeles, California, Hollywood, home of the stars, the magic factory where dreams come true, culture capital of the world, jewel of the Pacific, it's the Adam Carolla Show.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice but to get it on. Mandate. Get it on. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. We do appreciate it. We appreciate it. Appreciate you sharing it with a friend, a loved one, co-worker. Good day, Alison Rosen.
Hello, Adam Carolla.
And Bald Brian.
That guy sounds hot.
Senor Tsunami wanted that one. Hashtag top drop.
Love me some Norm. All right. Us at Amalfi tonight with Yakov Smirnoff. And it may sound sad, but I'm truly excited. Me and Jay Moore and Bill Simmons, the sports guy, going to be at the Wiltern coming up on Saturday, having some fun. And we can look forward to that. A couple things to get into. Had a few thoughts. John Salley on the way. Your phone calls on the way. Did Huffington Post yesterday. And
the live streaming interview thing?
The live streaming interviewing thing, which was great. And, you know, people are kind of like, oh, you dug into them and called them assholes and liars. And my feeling is, yeah, what the fuck do I care?
Well, also, there's like 1 million of them.
Yeah.
So there's not really one them.
Right, and it's a weird life, and I'm not in the... Well, first off, as I used to say to my old program director, when he'd say, you're going on the competition's radio show before you're going on Loveline? And I'd go, well, who's the joke on? I'm advertising your station on your competitor's station. So is that a bad thing? Seems like a good thing. I feel like their program director should be pissed at them for having me advertise my show on their station.
They were getting the same speech at the same time.
Yes, if I know radio, they're getting the same speech.
You let the competition come on our station and promote his show?
Simultaneously. So well, first off, I'm promoting my movie and Fund Anything, and so I have something to promote. And we had a banner day yesterday. I mean, I don't know, we made $70,000 or something in one day. But we had to kind of dress the part where I called them assholes for what I would call, it's now a common practice in journalism where somebody says, what do you think of your father-in-law? And you go, oh, that old son of a bitch. Boy, he's a real merry prankster. And then it says, Alison Rosen calls father-in-law.
I didn't know I was part of this.
Yes, old son of a bitch.
Right.
And that's all it says.
I said merry prankster.
No, we didn't. Yeah, I know. We just lopped it off at old son of a bitch with no context. So there's a little bit of that going on in journalism. It's not exactly lying. It's a version of lying. It's a reality show lying. Where they go.
This is what they say. They say the whole point of this in this day and age is just getting eyeballs. So they're going to bend the truth as much as possible to make it the most salacious and exciting.
Yeah. It's like on a reality show when the guy's sitting at the nice French restaurant, is across the table from the woman, and he says, will you marry me? And then there's just a shot of her looking like a deer in the headlights for 3 Mississippi, and then they go to commercial.
A lot of reaction shots.
Right. And then they come back, and they go, watch, you asked me if I'll marry you.
Okay. Adam, will you marry me?
That's what it's like when you come back. So I don't know where you grabbed that other fucking shot. I think it was just one.
It was her when she's like, there's whole milk in this coffee?
I don't even think it's that. It's like between takes. Like I think it's just a camera on her while she's staring off into nothing, and they just put that shot in there.
Yeah.
Now we got a lot of gravitas going into the commercial break, and then we come back and went, oh, no, we just fucked with you.
I've heard actually on reality shows they'll tell the people, the camera didn't work or whatever, or we have to be here another hour or two to get reactions.
Oh, there's a ton of that. It's gotten completely out of hand, and I'll tell you more about that because I'm working on a TV show as well, and boy, have times changed. But so I did this, and it was a nice environment, nice people, nice host, and we had to sort of get this uncomfortableness out of the way before we got on with the interview. Yes.
Forgive me, I know nothing of HuffPost Live. Is it on TV or is it an internet show?
It's an internet show,
okay.
And it's a sort of daily chatty thing with some news and some science and some stuff, and it's all about right. But we got into it, and then we had to sort of get into me and Gavin Newsom and my focus on family and focus on education, and that will fix all the problems in society. And but we got into it a little bit. You can listen to it, and there's some interesting revelations in here. doing here to try
He
to...
didn't give you a good answer as to perhaps what he thought maybe some of the systemic causes
Gavin
are.
Newsom.
That
He had
tend
zero.
To,
He had zero.
leave minority groups in, in positions where they are more likely to live in poverty and be preyed on by these
I
types
gave
of
him the
businesses.
answer, which is family and education, and we can all get out of this mess. And he said it was much more complicated than that. But then
It is a little more complicated than that, than just saying family and education.
not much.
Oh, but come on! I mean, it's a system, right? Where it is much harder to get out of a certain income bracket if you're born into it. If you live in a certain neighborhood,
Right.
and that affects the
That's
quality.
why you have to focus on family and education. I mean, I'm not Christian or anything.
You're not going to solve everything.
It would solve everything, yeah.
Just family and education. What
All right,
about
stop it there.
the drug?
First off, what's the big pushback on family and education? I'm not saying Pop-Tarts before you go to bed and Santeria during the day. I'm saying family and education. I don't know when that turned into fucking hate speak. It's not a new thing. It's just focus on family, focus on education. You get all the pushback. Yeah, but that's not the only. Okay, here's what family and education is. It is to a fat person or to any person what diet and exercise is. You can talk about metabolism, and everyone has a different metabolism. Well, what about you? Yours is slower, mine's faster. Ray's is fast. So what about metabolism difference? Okay, diet and exercise. But what about the big fast food lobby? What about them? And okay.
The most obvious and simplest solution
Yes.
is sometimes the one people want
Diet
to hear the
and
least.
exercise. Well, what do you think about the,
sounds like what
Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola? Yes,
Right. It's
I
like
understand.
whatever the cause, the solution is going to be the same.
It's all out there. There's people born into poverty. This whole country is made up of groups of people that were born into poverty. And Grandpa worked at a coal mine, and he told his son, "You're going to college. I'm going to scrimp and save so that you can go to college so you don't have to work in a coal mine." And that's pretty much where we're at. We could try it as an experiment and see what happened in 10 years. But there's always this pushback. It's like, what? Well, no, let's not oversimplify. Well, first off, what the fuck is wrong with oversimplifying something? Why don't we oversimplify it? Let's make it super simple. People can understand. And again, your metabolism and the fast food industry and people who live in bad neighborhoods have more fast food and eat higher caloric and this and that. Understood. And rich people have access to Whole Foods and smoothies and dietitians and gymnasiums. Understood. But still, diet and exercise, and we could really focus on this problem. And I'm the same way with whatever your culture is, whatever the culture is. I didn't grow up in that culture. I grew up studying other cultures that implemented the family and the
it's
education.
a really solid point. Tell me this is what you're saying. You're saying let's stop talking about all the causes. Let's stop trying to diagnose all the causes, and let's just look at what would make a difference.
If you have a slow metabolism, we can sit and discuss how you process sugar and sucrose and how you break down complex carbohydrates and stuff. Or we could just go, fuck it, you're going to have to eat some celery and spend an extra 20 minutes on the treadmill. Sorry. There are people that have a slower metabolism than you. There are people that have a faster metabolism. There are people who were born into, their parents were athletes. Okay, then their metabolism's better. There are people whose parents were, CPAs and publicists. They have a slower metabolism. Let's not stop talking about, well, she'll continue, and she has some pretty strong points here. Let's listen to the rest of her points.
That we have that's failing. What about the school-to-prison pipeline, things like this?
The school-to-prison pipeline, if you focused on education, I think would interrupt the school-to-prison pipeline.
Well, the problem is that
unless
schools
schools
are maybe not focusing on education so much as they are on
let's stop it.
reprimanding children.
We're going to rewind it for a second because there's something we missed in there. But first off, are you aware that there's a school-to-prison pipeline? Because my kids are switching schools, and I don't want to get Sonny sucked up into that pipeline.
I've never heard of that. But Alison, you write for HuffPo. Have you ever heard of the school-to-prison pipeline?
As I said, there's a million people that are involved in Huffington Post. So
right, but
no,
have you come across that term in your
no,
travels?
Actually, I never have.
Well,
no.
you should know that there's a pipeline that's
This is
been
the first time I've
built.
ever heard that.
There's a school-to-prison
underground?
pipeline. By the way, wow. I like the idea. Parts of it are above, and then the caribou lean up against it during the winter months.
Is it like a special feeder school?
I'm trying to explain to her that education would help this, and she's bringing up this pipeline from school to prison. ironically, I think making my point,
Yeah.
which is a good way not to get vacuumed up into that pipeline. It's one of these things. It drives me nuts. It's sort of like voter suppression. It's something that's invented, and then we all just go along with it. There's a school to prison pipeline. No, there isn't. There's broken families, a non-focus on education, kids in schools that aren't focused, that don't have a chance to get an education, who are then getting into gangs, dropping out, and going to prison. There's no pipeline.
That's the pipeline.
It's a cycle. It's a cycle that could be broken with family and with education, especially the school to prison pipeline. But you can go back. I think there's a drugs one in there too that we may have missed out on. Just family and education, and we can all get out of this mess. And he said it was much more complicated than that. But then
It is a little more complicated than that, than just saying family and education.
not much.
Oh, but come on. I mean, it's a system, right, where it is much harder to get out of a certain income bracket if you're born into it. If you live in a certain neighborhood,
Right.
that affects the
that's
quality.
why you have to focus on family and education. I mean, I'm not Christian or anything.
You're not going to solve everything.
It would solve everything, yeah.
Just family and education? What about, the drug war that we have
drug
that's
war.
failing? What about the school to prison pipeline, things like this?
The school to prison pipeline, if you focus. The drug war. Again, educated people who come from an intact family are less likely to get involved with selling drugs, buying drugs, and dealing drugs. But also, I've not heard a big wicker basket full of answers come from the people that constantly call me racist and talk about my hate speak. They just suggest that I should shut up.
That's one suggestion they have.
The one suggestion they have is that I'm a racist and I should shut up.
Oh, they also say shut the fuck up.
What they do not provide is answers. They would really make really bad doctors, I think. Zero answers, just explanations of why things are bad and why I need to shut up. Of course, it's the easiest answer in the world. Again, the family and exercise is to your culture what diet...
Education.
Oh, sorry. And education is what exercise and diet is to your waistline. It's pretty easy. Again, many other nuances and many other things working and many other things oftentimes working against you, but millions of examples of people just overcoming this with diet and exercise. So let's give it a try and see how it works. That's all. And don't call the doctor a racist. That's right.
While you're at it.
I made myself a doctor. Speaking of doctor, me and Dr. Drew got together, and Alison was very generous in her praise for the old Loveline episodes. And we had a little fun doing one of our podcasts today. And we do role playing, except for I do both parts because Dr. Drew really can't handle it. He's the worst improvisational actor you've ever met in your entire life.
Why don't you got no play, player?
And no player.
What were you role playing?
I think poor Ashley called in, and you get a lot of these girls now. She's like 18, and she's like, well, I work with this guy, and we're kind of friends, but we're having sex, but I kind of want more, but I don't think he wants any more, but should we still keep having sex?
Oh.
You know, it's this whole thing now where these poor 18-year-old girls just have sex, just get to keep having sex with these guys who are having sex with other people who never really want to commit. And I did a little role playing, which was cracking up the guys in the booth. So I thought you might want to enjoy. I was Ashley's boyfriend from work who wasn't really committing to her. Ashley,
Yes.
18, San Jose. What's going on, my dear?
Do you guys think that it's bad for a girl to be having sex with a guy before the relationship is established? I actually know him from my work. We started hanging out more, and then we had sex, and then I was like, well, I asked him, like, what do you want from this? Do you want a relationship? And he said that right now he doesn't want a relationship because we're both, like, he just got...
Okay.
Let me do it.
Yeah.
Right, currently, if you ask me, hold on a second.
Right now.
Hold on.
Right now.
Don't stop sucking. Keep sucking. Anyway, right now, what I would currently like from this relationship, go ahead. Yeah, work the balls. Work the balls. Just work the balls. What I would like right now from this relationship, hold on, let's see if I can get my beer without moving here. I don't want to interrupt you, but I said it on edge of the sofa there. I shouldn't put on the arm. My stepmom would kill me. Right now, what I'm looking for currently, because of school and because don't stop sucking, and work. I'm career oriented. If you want to drop a digit, that's fine. That's fine. Easy, lick it. Thank you. So I'd like to just sort of keep this, casual and friendly, and the ability to see other people. Easy with the pinky. Easy. What I'm saying is right now I'm at a point where, hold on. Shit. God. Yeah, you can. Use that hoodie over there. That's going in the hamper. You can, and I'll just see it work, and we'll figure this out.
Yes, that is who she's dealing with.
Thank you.
Okay,
Did you get it?
Things are going really well between us right now.
Ashley,
and
Ashley, stop it. This is not going to be a relationship. It's not going to be.
I miss Drew doing the stop it, stop it. Listen, I'm sober. I don't shoot methamphetamine anymore. I have a couple of beers before I go to stop it. Yeah, I love when Drew does that. So Drew's back in a big way. Miss talking to the young, screwed up people.
Yeah, it must be refreshing.
Yeah, very refreshing. And
by the end of the call, did she realize that she needs to not be with this guy?
Poor girls want to they want to be.
They want guys to like them,
They
right?
want guys to like them. And
I just know how I feel. I know what he's saying, but I know
Right.
how I feel
Well-
when I'm around him. You don't just do that when you don't really like something. Like I spent
Yeah.
years like that.
It's an interesting phenomenon, which is
Daniel. That's
it's
the exception.
What's interesting is in the past we had I want the boy to like me, so and desire me, and I want to make him happy, but I want him to like me, so I will give him sex or oral sex or whatever, so he will like me. But then we had to weigh that against sort of societal judgments.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, well, I do kind of want him to like me. On the other hand, I don't want to have to face my friends when they call me a slut, or my mom's going to be really upset if I come home late, my lipstick's messed up, or whatever it is. Now we've kind of gotten rid of the societal judgment part, but we still are left with the I'd like him to like me.
Yeah.
Thus, blowjobs aplenty.
I think there's also, and maybe this is not how it is for Ashley, but for some girls, there's this thing of like, I'm going to be the really cool girl. And I know that like all those other girls that you like are probably all stuck up and demand that you treat her a certain way. So I'm going to be really cool and really agreeable. And that is a really bad way to be.
Yes, Brian.
I imagine it doesn't bother you too much, but does Drew get upset or saddened by the fact that after 20 plus years of doing Loveline or whatever it's been, he still gets the same kinds of calls? You know what I mean? That he got when he started. Like he hasn't broken the cycle of sadness.
I don't know. I think he feels like a cop or an exterminator or anybody who, the guy picks up garbage in the park. Like, it's just there. That's my job. It will always be. My job is to leave the park clean. And then when I come back tomorrow, it'll be covered with shit again. And then I will begin this process once again. All right.
Sisyphean process of pushing the rock up the hill.
We have some phone calls. She's got a 14-year-old from New Hampshire. Why not? Hey, Daniel.
Hi.
What's going on? 14.
Yeah.
Little young for my demo. How'd you get onto the podcast?
Well, my dad originally turned me on to it when I was, I think, 13.
No, I meant who the fuck let you on the show? You're horrible. No, I'm kidding. Your dad.
Yep, my dad, I think he showed me the podcast on my way home from a baseball game I played in.
Makes me hate my dad even more. And, I met with a dude today, by the way, who said, well, I'm going to be out of town tomorrow. And I said, what are you doing out of town? Oh, my daughter's trying out for the Brown University, by the way, Ivy League. So trying out for the Brown soccer team. She wanted me there. Wow. I said, trying out? Like, championship game, I could see starting at goalie. But trying out wanted me there. Just gonna hop a plane out to Brown. And and I just looked at him and went, wow, would my dad never, don't want you to try out
I just realized this should be a question of whether or not you can get into Brown. Where is Brown? Is it in New York? Is it in New Hampshire?
Rhode Island, I think.
Or somewhere around there, yeah.
Now I
Yeah.
have to look it up.
No,
I have to look it
none
up,
of us
too.
know where Brown is.
Yeah. There's not a lot of brown around it, if you know what I mean. Daniel?
Yeah.
Sorry. What's the question?
The trees are lush and green.
That's what I'm talking about.
My question was, I'm going to your live show in August in New Hampshire, and I was wondering what is it going to be like? What's going to happen there? And
What are you into?
comedy.
Oh, well, forget that.
Yay.
I was hoping you were going to say, like, Lincoln Logs or something. It's going to
Jenga.
be me and Drew doing the show that you probably don't remember, but maybe have just heard a clip of. Providence, Rhode Island, by the way. We are going to do some Q&A, tell some stories, take a little walk down memory lane, and then after the show, we will sign things. Drew will take way too much time taking pictures and signing things. I will yell at him because he'll be holding up the line, and we'll have an uncomfortable moment. And at some point, I'll yell at him for splitting the money with him when I'm doing 80% of the heavy lifting. And that'll be the show.
All right.
Sound good, Daniel?
Yep.
You
And
gotta-
I wanted to say hi to Alison and
Hi.
hi to Brian.
Hey, thanks. And, hey, bring your fake ID. I think we'll have some Mangria.
Cool.
All right, buddy.
Okay.
Hey, let me ask you this, Daniel.
Yep.
Your friends, now being 14, that puts you in, what, the 9th grade? 8th,
I'm
9th
going
grade?
to be a sophomore next year.
All right.
10th.
Sophomore. Wow, at 14?
Yep.
Did you skip a grade?
No, I started late, but I like to think I skipped a grade.
I was the same.
Oh, okay. You were 14.
I didn't get my license till junior year.
Oh,
halfway
it's-
through.
So you're going into the. Oh, sorry.
He's going into it's summertime. So
He's going into the 10th grade.
Mhm.
He must have. Do you have a summer birthday?
September probably.
Oh, who cares?
Yeah, September.
Going in.
Just
So
before
going
October.
in. So you were 14.
We're both
in-
young for our class, but yeah,
into
I
the
was
10th
14
grade.
going into
Wow.
10th, 15 going into junior year.
Yep.
All right, Daniel. And what are your friends? Did they anyone listen to the podcast? You've been turning your friends on to the podcast?
I've tried, but none of them none of them seem to care.
no.
They're all into let's go do something stupid. Well, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna listen.
This is
to,
stupid.
Listen to this.
Yeah. Tell them this
Something
is.
that's not listening to Adam McCrow is obviously stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Isn't or something. Thanks, Daniel. Come up and say
Thank
hi.
you. All right.
And I'll sign your retainer.
Yay.
Yeah. There's no way he has a retainer.
No.
Does anyone have retainers anymore?
I do.
You do?
I really do. I made a reference to when you were talking about how dumb girls like purple, and I said that's how I knew I was dumb. I said I have purple retainers, and everyone just let that one go. I really have purple retainers because when I got my braces off, that was cool. I
But
don't
not-
wear them very
right.
often.
What? No. Daniel, they hang up.
Nope.
Daniel.
Nope.
Daniel, you don't have a retainer, do you?
I actually do have a retainer. I just got my braces off.
Congratulations! Don't your teeth
Thank
feel
you.
slimy?
And it's not like one of the old braces retainers. It's like the Invisalign retainers. Where
Right. All right. I know. How often do I bring up someone in their retainer?
Very rarely.
Right.
Hardly-
He
never.
has a retainer.
I know. Did you get a retainer feel from him?
I don't get any feel. I just blurt things out.
Okay.
And when I blurt things out, oftentimes they have some particles of truth in them, but I'm not sure why. I just know. I
You
don't
sensed his orthodontic state.
Yes, I don't try to figure out guys who work around metal or guys who are wearing retainers. I just say it. So it sort of comes to me. So it must be something on subconscious level speaking to me.
Maybe
Maybe
your version of I don't know where it comes from.
Yeah.
I don't know where I get it.
touched by God. Some guys can pick the ponies. I know the teens who had their braces taken off recently. Mm-hmm. So I've parlayed that into a small fortune.
Speaking of picking ponies, Line. Oh, is he still there? Oh, is he gone? The guy from DraftKings? Oh, no, Line 2. He made a bunch of money on DraftKings. Now I'm dying to know how.
Hey, Dan. Hey, please figure out the screen. Thank you. Dan,
Yeah.
25. What's going on?
Yep. Hey, I just wanted to let you know that through your podcast, it was turned on to me for DraftKings through all the ads you do for that, and then won a couple $100 recently and wanted to pay it forward back into the podcast. I listen to it every day at work, And I was wondering if you were going to add anything to the Fund Anything movie, maybe that I'd be up for going. I'm looking at like maybe $150 to donate.
Hold on.
Anything.
I got a feeling. Hold on, Dan.
Yeah.
Are you sitting on a hemorrhoid donut? Be honest. Again,
No,
I have a
but
feeling.
I was recently diagnosed that I have arthritis in my back. So.
I felt pain emanating from that area. Lower back?
Lower back. Yeah, I work for the post office. Kind of over.
And some mornings when you get out of bed, it's stiff?
Oh, there's a lot of stiffness. I was taught to actually roll out of bed. Like ninja roll.
You carry a lot of your tension in that part of your body. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, I can use a massage.
And it's the kind of thing where you'll take a hot bath and it'll feel pretty soothing, but somehow the next day it's back again. Right, Dan?
Exactly. I'm not rich enough to actually, take a bath. I feel like that's always been like a rich person thing to do.
Super poor people take baths.
Yeah,
It is a rich man, poor man thing. In-betweeners take showers.
Dan, save those winnings for pain pills.
Yeah, you're going to need some Vicodin. Dan, you can probably go to fundanything.com/am and find something for $100. And
well, I'm looking at it right now, and I was just kind of wondering if you were going to add anything else.
oh yeah, we will add things. We will add things.
I saw that you were close to the goal. It was over 900,000, so it's pretty close to there.
Keep
which is really
checking,
awesome.
Dan. We're getting one of the things that's really cool that we added, which is I can't remember if I mentioned it or not, but the Phil Rosenthal viewing party, Mozza pizza oven. That guy, you guys had the Mozza
That's
pizza.
worth it for the pizza alone.
The pizza.
It's world-class pizza.
It's world-class pizza. He has a brick oven in his kitchen, and he has the staff from the restaurant.
It's Mario Batali's restaurant. It's no joke. That's
just
like real
making the pizzas one after the other while the booze is flowing. And then you're sitting around rubbing elbows with luminaries, and then you go into a theater. And here's what I'll say about Phil Rosenthal. And, we do this thing all the time where it's like, well, this guy's this way or this guy's that way. If you don't call certain guys assholes, then all the nice guys aren't nice guys. Phil Rosenthal, somebody just suggested, a mutual friend, why don't you ask Phil if you can have a viewing party at his house? You could sell. That's a high-dollar ticket. The Mangria, red wine, white wine, Mozza pizza, then into his theater, and it's a big theater, and at his home. And I said, well, that sounds kind of intrusive, just sort of 20 people,
All these people in his house
showing up at his house. And he said, I bet Phil'll do it. He's a nice guy. And I just said, well, Phil, I sent him an email, and I said, absolutely do not have to agree to this, but somebody put it out there, and I thought it would be a great way to raise money. What do you think? He just wrote back like 5 words. It said yeah, let's do it. That was it. It wasn't how many, it wasn't when, it wasn't how much, it wasn't hold on, it wasn't let me ask, it wasn't slow down. It was just, all right.
That's so nice.
I know the fucking mensch. What a goddamn mensch. All right. You got a call up there you like? Anybody see anything else? Let's see.
I've always wondered about line 5. I don't think I've heard you talk about that, actually.
Line 5. Mike, Iowa, 35.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Yeah. What's going on?
Hey, I was just nothing. Adam, I was going to ask you if you've ever dated anybody before you got married or any ladies that had a lot of tattoos. And if so, did you ever find them out to be nuts? Think they were crazy?
Well, no. Oh, I think I had a girlfriend who had... It's stupid that I don't know this shit, but I do block out a lot of my past, to be fair to me. I may have had a girlfriend that had like a heart on her ankle or something like that. The non-tattoo, the non-committal tattoo, just to say I have a tattoo, but no one can see the tattoo. It's like having the world's smallest "We're Open" sign in front of your coffee shop. I don't get it. Like, why? It's the size of a postage stamp, and it's up in the corner and where no one can see it. When I was single, it was not all the rage. And back then, if you had a tattoo, you were either a rockabilly chick or a super punk chick, or there was something going on. Now you're just kind of a poser going along for the ride. So it probably meant more than it does now. Like, you know, back in the day, if a guy had a tattoo, he was a tough guy. I didn't want to mess with that guy. Now everyone's got a tattoo. So, no, maybe it's just me, but I just don't think women can be improved by nails, tattoos. There's earrings, lots of jewelry. Like I have a laundry list of things where women don't get better. Women get better. Their hair can be nice. Makeup properly applied can be nice. Tan skin can be nice. Toned body can be nice, but the whole tongue piercing or triple ear piercing or cartilage piercing or aggressive piercing or nose stud or anything doesn't make them any better looking. The tongue piercing says kind of open for business orally, but it doesn't really. It's not an attraction. It's not an aesthetic attraction. Doesn't make it any better to me. I don't know that many guys that are into it, but I guess there's enough out there. I don't get it. And then I don't kind of get where it stops either. Like when they start doing the whole sleeved arm thing, and I don't see it paying dividends. And I
wonder if the guys that are attracted to that is the same thing as being attracted to the girl with the tongue pierced. Like they look like they're going to be crazy in the sack.
Yeah,
Let's
but
find out from Mike.
I would warn the guys out there or the girls out there that the guys that does attract probably aren't, it's not Sir Walter Raleigh. Mike, what's your experience?
My experience is the last 2 years or so, I have dated, I would say, 4 or 5 girls that had multiple tattoos, including forearm tattoos that were visible. Mm-hmm. And all of them had a backstory that was not like the type of people that was
literally tattooed on their back, or are we talking about a past?
No, I mean,
once upon a time.
It's great when you're in certain positions. You get some reading in.
That's right. In the mirror, it's confusing now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, one girl had a full back tattoo, so I got to look at that. But anyway, no,
you got her in the mirror, and you're like, spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, yeah, usually a lot of look. Okay, here's the thing. When people experienced pain in their life as a child, they want to sort of re-experience that pain. They may not want it, but they need it, and they get a sort of endorphin rush from it. Now, some people cut on themselves. Tattooing, there's a certain amount of pain involved with it, and I think whereas that pain may be a detraction to a lot of people, it's an attraction to a certain core group of people that want to feel like they're a little bit dead inside. Yeah. Stepdaddy molested them, what have you. So they want to feel that, and that's where the kind of the addiction comes in. Because I'm wondering if you took the people that have multiple tattoos and you turned it into a completely painless procedure where you really felt no sensation. It was just you going down to a guy. It was like going to the barber.
If they would want it as
sitting
much.
In there. I wonder if they would be as involved in it.
It's like the guys that go out for the Rangers or the SEALs. If it wasn't so hard, they wouldn't do it. It's part of the fact that it's so incredibly difficult.
Yeah, and
I think too. Yeah, I agree.
I think there's an attraction.
Just painting on your skin.
There's an attraction to that pain for a lot of people, and thus you're going to be dealing with some pretty damaged goods when you're dealing with those people. All right.
Christy has 2 tattoos.
Does she really?
But she's remarkably normal. They're kind of neither here nor there.
What are they?
She has a little Winnie the Pooh tattoo, very rebellious 16-year-old, and she has a little butterfly in her butt. I probably shouldn't be saying that.
Now, is she? You think she was rebelling?
I think she was just rebelling. She had gone to England for some sort of study abroad thing. Was coming back, smoking. I don't know if she was smoking cigarettes. She was, doing whatever kids do. Who 16
reading A.A. Milne.
Yeah, exactly.
It's insane.
But that's not that's not a super aggressive, on your arm or anything. So
no. And also, she's of the age where just everyone just had to do it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know the fuck I'm going to. I mean, hopefully we'll hit a saturation point where my kids won't want to do it because everyone will have done it.
So
and then,
passe.
Well, you're looking to zig while everyone else is zagging. You're looking to push against the societal norms. And if the norm is everyone has a tattoo, I mean, we will have a president that is fully sleeved at some point when The Rock is voted in.
I've seen Idiocracy. I know how it goes.
I mean, it's just going to happen, right? It's going to be First Lady's going to have a barbell going through her tongue. I mean, there's going to be sleeve. Look,
it's interesting. I know nothing about whether any presidents have had tattoos.
I bet maybe your Teddy Roosevelt or something may have had something of, or there's probably that's a good.
Based on the fact that so many were in like Skull and Bones, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like
they
one
must
of
have
those
some sort of
kind of secret ones,
insignia
maybe.
on the,
Yeah, interesting. All right, let's see. Decreased libido. Adam, thoughts on who would win between Clubber Lang from Rocky III and Ivan Drago?
Well, this must be answered.
Yes. All right, Charles, 28, Virginia.
Yeah, Adam, get it on. How are you doing?
Get it on, man. So Clubber Lang in his prime.
Yeah.
And
versus,
Drago.
Ivan Drago. Who do you think would win? My friends and I have always argued about this.
Well, the thing about the thing that was incredibly flawed about Rocky III, and almost all the Rockies, but especially Rocky III.
Just Rocky III?
Well, not Rocky I per se, but Rocky III, which is, and all the other ones are just what they are. But Rocky III, he goes out and he fights Clubber Lang, and he gets the shit kicked out of him because he's not fast enough. So he has to train. He's got to be lightning fast, and he gets with Carl Weathers, and he runs that super erotic, greased up slow motion, running on the beach and hugging. And Carl Weathers is so much faster than he is at the beginning.
He's beating him running backwards at one point.
Anyone who knows anything about guys in their early 40s and their foot speed knows they only speed up as they get older. That's what I know about foot speed. In another 20 years, I'll be playing cornerback in the NFL.
That's right.
So at a certain point, he speeds up and he catch him. And what Clubber's saying to him is, not Clubber, what Weathers is saying, what Carl Weathers, Apollo's saying, man, you're flat-footed. Get up on your toes. And he's bouncing around. He's doing those things where he's shaking his black titties, He's just boom, boom. He's up on your toes, up on your toes, up on your toes. You're flat-footed. Up on and moving, jabbing.
Interesting.
On your toes and move, on your toes and move. You got to be grease lightning with this guy. You can't touch you because you went in and traded with the slugfest where the guy's got 30 pounds on you and is 10 years younger and he knocked your block off. This time, we're going to teach you how to skip rope. We're going to teach you basically how to fight like a black fighter. Get you up on your toes, move around. Fine. There's a 2-hour training montage of him up on his toes, skipping rope, running on the beach, getting all the speed. Then fight night.
Right.
About 30 seconds into the fight, he gets flat-footed and just starts trading with Clubber.
Just brawling.
Except for this time, it's like, come on!
Yep.
And
Clubber keeps hitting him. It's so bad.
You keep hitting, keep going, and it's like, well, wait a minute.
Sock to the head. It's so bad. Sock to the head. It's so bad.
Right.
It's pretty bad. He's hitting the face.
First off, I don't think he's implementing his plan. Getting hit in the head over and over again. Secondly, I will say this about head trauma. You can't just decide it doesn't bother you. You get hit.
I've seen Rocky 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and 6.
I've been in the ring. I've been knocked out or knocked around, and you get hit hard in the head. I felt this. You will feel what feels like an electric shock on the ball of your foot. You get hit in the head hard enough, you feel like you stepped on an open wire. Your body has...
Right, because an electrical impulse,
yeah,
I
I literally felt
body.
like a shock in my foot. And then your shit starts getting fucked up. You just yelling, come on, is never part, it's not part of the cure. So he fights a guy who's stronger and younger and who thoroughly... Blacker and thoroughly dismantled him the fight before. Now he's going to approach it with a whole new strategy. He's going to be like Sugar Ray Leonard fighting Marvin Hagler, except for 1 round in, he completely abandons that and just decides to let him keep punching him in the face. But this time he's pissed and he wins.
Yeah.
That didn't make any sense to me as a moviegoer.
As for Clubber Lang versus Drago.
Oh, yeah.
If you remember... Ivan Drago killed a man in the ring. Apollo Creed, spoiler alert.
Right.
But he never beat Rocky. It was never a rematch thing. It was just the one match.
Mm-hmm.
However, that fight was a brutal 15-round fight, and I'm pretty sure Rocky's rematch against Lang went something like 4 rounds. He beat him pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So the 15-round one epic win versus Drago versus loss, and he still has to go to the rubber match for Clubber Lang.
I will say this: if that fight takes place in the United States, and the Godfather of Rock and Roll is there, Drago wins. That's the real question, Charles.
What's your thought on that new Rocky movie they're pitching with Apollo Creed's grandson?
Oh, really?
Yeah, you haven't heard about it yet?
Oh, no. I couldn't.
Apparently Sly is supposed to make a cameo. And,
not interested.
I've always thought that was Dr. Drew.
No, that's...
Doesn't it sound like him, though, or am I the only one who thinks that?
Not interested.
I don't...
Yes, Drew?
It's a black man.
I wouldn't say it sounds like Carl Weathers, per se, but it does not sound like Dr. Drew. But if you think it's Dr. Drew the first time out, you're going to think it from that day forward.
All right, well, here's a little secret about that drop that I don't think anyone's ever asked me about or even knows. If you listen closely, something had just been bleeped out on the radio show, and when they do that, when they dump something, the tape, the following whatever minute takes to ramp back up the delay, gets stretched out a little bit. So you can tell Carl's voice is distorted a tiny bit.
Not interested.
It's distorted in a Drew way.
You know what the question was?
I don't. What was it?
Would you do Dancing with the Stars?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Not interested.
Well, he's no Geraldo.
I'll take that as a maybe. All right. That being said, I'll go with Drago. I mean, the guy.
I would too.
The guy was unbelievable in this.
He killed a man in the ring.
That's right. And finally, Ray, line 4. Ray.
Ryan.
Oh, sorry, Ryan.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Hey, man.
Hey.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, I'm 25 in here in Idaho, and just want to get your thoughts on a situation I'm kind of going through. Actually, over the last couple of years, been noticing I'm not really interested in dating women. I've had a few girlfriends on and off, but it's never been like
interested.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and so, I was just wondering if that's like a normal thing in your 20s, if you went through something like that, or is it just I don't know, kind of what's going on.
No, you should be horny as shit and trying to hook up every weekend, but maybe you're a little bit depressed, and I don't know, how's your health? Like, how's your weight? You in good shape?
Yeah, well, 280, 6'1", took your advice, started exercising every day, helps with depression. But, yeah, I mean, it kind of, I feel like I'm less depressed than I was.
Hold on a second.
Alaska,
280, 6'1". So John Salley's in the next room. He's 6'13", and he's 1.8. He's 218. He's 218. 6'1". Hold on. Let me do some quick math here. I'm doing what I used to do.
Oh, you're doing the radio
math.
Was it? Is the podcast math different than the radio math?
Mm-mm. Same.
It's
I used the
different
same
format.
Same
math.
Same calculations.
Same laminated thing I keep in my wallet.
Okay. It's good that you still have that.
Other side's
They
got the
have
tips
apps for
on
that
it.
now.
I'm old-fashioned.
We should come out with an addition to our app, podcast math.
6 plus 3 is...
Alison?
9.
9.
That's what I was going to say.
And then there's a thing that always confused me. So 1 plus 1 is 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, but 1 times 1...
Is 1.
Is 1.
That's 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is
It
confusing.
does feel like it should
1
be more.
plus 1 is 2,
Mm-hmm.
but then 1 times 2, then that's 1 then, 2, right?
It's 2.
2?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to go back to that chart.
All right. He says 280, 6'1". I have him at 5'11", 3/16, 293. That's according to the not podcast math. So, Ryan.
Yeah.
Now, I'm no doctor, but I have spoken to Drew about folks that are carrying around extra weight, especially dudes, and they have high circulating amounts of estrogen, which might possibly be a little bit of a cock block. You see what I'm saying? Okay. A self-imposed cock block.
I would have called it a boner killer.
That too. So if I were you, and I like the idea that you're exercising and you were depressed, right? You're not depressed or as depressed anymore.
Yeah, man.
I'd say don't question that part of your life that much. I'd say focus on you, focus on exercise, focus on diet, focus on career, focus on education, and as the pounds shed off and as the degrees pile up, then we'll see where you're at with ladies in 6 months to a year.
Right on, man.
All right, and don't worry about it. You just keep on your regimen. There are times in life when I've known guys, and women are especially guilty of this as well, especially when they're young. The opposite sex can be a fantastic distraction. And I
totally agree.
I know guys that just, their basically job was getting laid. That was their, forget about career, forget about education, forget about anything else. Just, I get laid. That's what I do. And it's hard to tell 23 and 24-year-old guys that are bringing home new 21 and 22-year-old super hot pieces of ass every weekend to knock it off and focus on the books. They don't. But then they blink their eyes and they're 35, and other people have law degrees, and all they have is craps.
And not only that.
Sorry.
I mean, and that's good advice for people who are successful with the opposite sex, but for people who are struggling and who are very focused on that and who are making that a priority, I think, if you focus on getting a job, you will get a job. But if you focus on trying to get into a relationship, that doesn't help you get into a relationship. If you focus on you, that's what helps you.
Make yourself a more presentable target. My dear, dear friend John Salley coming in, the Spider Baby, coming in right after this. The great John Salley in studio. Don't believe me? First player to play on 3 different championship-winning franchises. Got the Pistons, Bulls, and Los Angeles Lakers. Now,
Pistons twice.
Robert Horry has joined him, but those still the only 2 dudes?
Only 2 guys. They're lucky enough to get traded to the right team. That's what it comes out to.
How tall are you, John?
I'm 7 foot, and I was listening. I'm 7 foot, 243 pounds.
But you're obviously very, very amazing shape and vegan, and has a wine. We were just talking out in the hall about it. Has a vegan wine. Says he's been to some of the liquor stores in Detroit and says put it by the Mangria because the Mangria is flying off the shelves.
It really is.
And I know it's unfair.
It really is unfair because I didn't know you were doing it. I thought, I was slipping into the beverage business. Mm-hmm. And I go, Mangria, it sounds like something Adam Carolla says, right? And the guy goes, yeah, that's his. And I get close and I start reading it. And he goes, man, this sells off the shelf. And I was like, that's why we can't sell marijuana in Detroit anymore. They're drinking Mangria.
Yeah, it packs a punch. How do you do a vegan wine? And then why isn't all wine vegan?
That's what I said. And then I got involved. Now, what happens is, in the making of the wine, they use animal products. They use casein, which is milk. They use isinglass, which is the fish bladder of surgeons. They use egg whites. And they throw that on, and then that grabs, like a magnet, grabs the little particles, and then they clear it again. So in the making of wine, they use animal products.
So they clean your wine with fish bladder?
Yeah. Well, they get it up. But this is the crazy thing. In France and in Italy, obviously, where great wine is made, they use bentonite, which is a clay, which we use. And it's a sustainable vineyard. It's up in the northern central coast. It's called Côte La Chance. And I have the label with them, and we make the wine vegan. And it's, this beverage business is great, but I'm out there knocking on doors. I just got Young's to distribute me in California.
Young's is a big distributor.
Yeah, big distributor.
Yeah, well, see, that's the whole thing. You have to hit the payment. Like, it is boots on the ground. You got to get what they call pull through. You know what I mean? So, I just got back from Canada last weekend. So
You're selling in Canada now?
Yes.
See, I gotta follow you. I just gotta follow you because getting outside the country is even a thought process.
Everything. I mean, if you think doing anything in this country, for instance, like pulling a permit and building on, your house is a bitch, or just pulling a permit and just getting a business license or anything in this country is a pain in the ass. Try something to do with booze. Now we got a real situation, and it changes from municipality to municipality, and you got to go there and show up and talk to the Young's guy, and then the Young's guy goes,
"You got to care.
We'll put it in 2 of our markets, and you got to come out every single weekend."
And I do. I drive. I've had more miles on my new car than ever going back and forth to Orange County. One, I like it because I get, you get to be on stage. It's the only time I really get to be on stage now is talking to these guys. And then they got 1,500 different labels they got to sell. So I got to convince them that this label is worth their time to go to somebody, because these sales guys get paid on commission.
Right.
So they're making a lot of money on Mangria, brother. I'm just telling you. I saw the guy in there. He's in the grocery stores. It was right outside Detroit, too. It's like one of the busiest spots just to sell liquor. It's
really?
Like Whole Foods. Yeah, I went in and I did a place pouring at D Wines way out in Livonia. I opened up the Whole Foods.
Your sister's name, isn't it?
I wish I had if I had a sister, it'd be a whole conversation.
So yeah, you go down there and they go, great NBA great John Salley and his sister Livonia are going to be here at noon. They're going to be pouring wine. Take pictures next to John Salley's scrotum sack while you hold up the wine.
And you get, but see, the deal is everybody eats flesh. Mm-hmm. And so when I walk in with a vegan wine, I said, it's just a really good wine, California wine. I just found the in with the vegan, because I'm a vegan, and it's the only label with the word vegan on it. Right. The major word is vegan. So really, I push veganism, and everybody that becomes a vegan saves 7,500 land animals. I'm an animal advocate.
Really?
So, yeah. So I that's the way I do. I fight with my fork. And it's better than just going out there and throwing powder and blood on people. That makes no sense to me.
But stabbing people with a fork, I would argue, is pretty aggressive too. Anyway, you do it the way you have to do it. I can't judge. I'm in enough trouble with the black community. Vegan, it's a beautiful wine. Now, do you
I like the label, yeah.
Yeah, do you do different?
Yeah, I have a Cabernet Sauvignon. We have a red, which is mixed with 7 different reds. I have a Cabernet, the big red, and I have a Chardonnay. I had to get Chardonnay because, selling in California, 40% wine market.
And women don't want to stain their teeth.
No, they don't. I call it white woman's crack. It's really, really good.
Where does one find vegan wine? I'm curious to try it.
Just now, I was talking back and forth to the people at Whole Foods, so pretty soon it'll be nationwide, God willing. But it's at Ear One here in California. And since you're in California, if you're in California, we can ship directly, too. You can go to veganvine.com.
So how many? Just because now I'm in this business, how long you been around? How many?
14 months.
How many cases you moving?
I'm trying to move 20,000 cases this
That's
year.
a good. That's a good number.
We're fitting at, God willing.
Yeah, that's good. If you can get anywhere near that.
Yeah, I'm at 6,200 right now. I know that because I get paid per case, so I had to pay attention. And you're right.
You're at how many cases now?
6,200.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's good.
And so I'm thinking, when we get this, and then people from Trader Joe's says, well, you're testing in. They know everything about Whole Foods. Well, we'll see how your test in Detroit goes with Vegan Vine. And I sold out in Vegan Vine in Detroit. So, and it was funny because black people like sweet wine. All the black people I was doing wine pouring. Is it sweet?
Yeah.
No, baby. But it's
some Mangria.
Yeah. That's why the Mangria is going to go. Listen, drop this vegan bullshit. Be the new spokesperson of Mangria.
Do you get paid? They buy a case and then you get money, or do you get paid when they sell the wine?
They, well, we can both probably answer that. You basically front them the stuff. Exactly. And then they have like 45 to 60 to 90 days, like depending on who you're dealing with, to pay you. So, they order 100 cases, they'll pay you probably and hopefully in the next 60 days.
Hopefully.
So you have to, there's carrying costs, as they call it. But I could see you being my new Billy D.
I can hook
for
it up.
Mangria.
I can even
sitting
change
at the desk.
the voice.
Yeah.
Yes. Colt 45. I wonder what happened to malt liquor.
First
Being
off,
sold as Mangria.
Oh, Mangria.
I gotta say, it is confusing, the black community and malt liquor, because there's not the opposite of sweet is malt liquor.
I know.
It's the shittiest tasting stuff around, and I do understand the brothers going for the sweeter tasting buzz.
Right. Give us diabetes. Stop us from
everybody wants a buzz, but they want it to sort of go down easy. The malt liquor is just fucking tough. Yeah. I mean, that ain't no Sierra Nevada.
40.
My sister drank a 40, and then we were all way too young to be drinking. And then somehow there was a soccer game in the street, and she kicked me instead of the ball.
That's what happens. Yeah. Dr. Drew would say she probably needs to go right into rehab. So the wine's doing pretty well. I'll tell you, 20,000 cases, nothing to sneeze at. When they talk about, I was at a Lakers game, and I was sitting down there at the Lakers Club or something, and I was sitting, this guy at my table, just putting back a few before the game. He had a huge, looked like a Super Bowl ring on.
Yeah.
And I said, what's the ring for? Because I was curious guy, probably college World Series or something like that. He played third base, and he said, I sell the most Jack Daniels in the world. And you get a ring. You get a ring. I said, how much Jack Daniels do they sell every year? Not him personally, but do they go through? He said 5 million cases.
5 million cases.
And by the way, cases. Yeah. So go ahead and put 12 to whatever number that is in terms of bottles.
This is when I knew I wanted to get in this business. Literally, Diageo gave Blue Flame, which is Diddy's company, $100 million to advertise and make Ciroc the new taste. Mm-hmm. They were at 60,000 cases. Like you said, I would say $1 million every 20,000 cases. Diddy's now the number one selling vodka in the world at 2.5 million cases a year. Is why he doesn't make records.
I sat down with those guys in the Diageo house.
Really?
They have a house in Napa, 10,000 square foot Craftsman filled with booze and super high ceilings. You'd go nuts. You go nuts.
What's Diageo? For all the people who don't know.
Sorry, that was dumb. Diageo is like the biggest. They handle all the brands. They rep all the big stuff, and they did the whole P. Diddy brand thing. Mm-hmm. And the whole Ciroc thing is vodka that's made from grapes, and it was some French company, and it wasn't doing that well. It's the craziest marriage ever. We have this little sort of boutique vodka out of France made from grapes, not Russian potatoes. It's not doing particularly well. Let's get this black dude who's known for rapping and banging Kim Kardashian to come on in and get behind this thing.
Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez. And get going. And it was, sorry, different brother. Sorry. And either way, and he said, and they were like, what? And last year they whacked up $86 million, and
it's big time.
I think P. Diddy wanted to buy the whole thing, and they went like, no. But look forward to a whole bunch of different more P. Diddy's stuff coming out. And the thing that's cool about that brand is I try to explain to my wife all the time. Look, Jack Daniels is gone. Meaning the dude, he's been dead for 120 years. I'll be gone too. But the kids can keep selling the shit. You know, once they clear rehab, they can sell the stuff.
And this is going to be your legacy.
Yeah, you don't need me for this.
I told my daughter that.
The podcast, that's going to be tough.
Yeah. They might come in and make it like Christian.
Yeah, either way, we're gonna lose a certain degree of the audience when I leave.
Some jealous college kids are gonna look at Sonny pulling up in a Ferrari and go, "Mangria money."
Mangria money. John also has a podcast, the John Salley Show. New episodes available every Wednesday on iTunes. Who do you get on this show? Because I know John's pretty connected. Like he gets a lot of good guests, people like that.
Really good people on Podcast One, and I have what is it? I have Phil Jackson. I did a great conversation. I did an evening with Phil Jackson, conversations with John Salley. I did it at the Alex Theater in Glendale, but then I made it my podcast.
How is Phil Jackson? I mean, what would
His
surprise?
health is not great.
What would surprise us about him, and what's going on with him? But what would surprise us about Phil Jackson, if anything?
That he doesn't want to coach. That surprised me that he straight out said, "I do not want to coach anymore," because his health. He said, I couldn't sleep when I was coaching. I'd get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I would feel I made a mistake in the last game. I would hope he would go through all this anxiety that no one, because he gets out there and he looks so cool and the team wins and it's like Phil's the greatest, but they have no idea how he beats his body up and his mind up.
He can barely walk too, right? He has a real problem with his ankles.
Hips.
The travel's got to be, I mean, when you're coaching, the travel obviously is insane as well. How much, when you're playing, how much conversation takes place on the floor? How much back and forth?
A lot. There's a lot of conversation. A lot of it is hand signals. If you know your guys, if you're playing bad, you hear negative things. When you're playing good, you hear nothing. You don't hear the crowd. I don't understand when people sit around and go, "Man, you're the sixth man." No, that's not. When a guy gets in a groove, he gets in a groove. We do appreciate the crowd, though. Let me fix that. Did the same guys that boo also cheer? So I remembered that.
Do you remember some of the bigger talkers when you playing?
Yeah, Charles Barkley.
What?
Larry Bird.
It was weird. Bird didn't seem like that big a talker.
Oh yeah, he was a
big talker. Oh, he's a whisperer.
Yeah, he's a big whisperer. He whispered something to Dr. J, and Dr. J punched him in his face. I mean, that's
really.
Yeah, Dr. J just went out and punched him in his face. Like Bird would say all kinds of things. Like one time
what did he say to Jay?
I think, hey, old man, it's my league now. Sit down, or something like that.
Wow.
In Dr. J's last way, but that's just Larry. I remember I was playing him. He said, "You guys double teaming me?" I said, "No, I got you by myself today." It's like Mouse in the house, like changed the play.
Oh, really?
Like he was like, "If you're gonna go 1-on-1, I'm gonna kill you 1-on-1." And he would say that. You better ask for help because I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you on this court. And it's so funny because he's the blackest white guy you're ever gonna meet, and with that Southern accent. But he was. And then when you get to find out, he's one of those guys like Elvis that played with all the black guys. So he, like Chris Mullin, he just got that that talk. George Carl said, if you put a white guy with some brothers for 30 days, they come out sounding like brothers.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I punch right in the face.
I know. We're just watching footage of it. I know. I used to just a long weekend with the Henry and James Boyd from my Pop Warner football team, and I was black. I absolutely mean it.
How long did it last?
Oh, it. Thankfully, I was able to shower it off second I got home. I don't mean thankfully, but but I was black while I was living in their house with their big, that's my mama kind of mama, and older brother, and all black neighborhood. There's me and Henry Boyd back in 1973 or something like that. And my mom would drop me off in, I think they were in Pacoima, but they were in an all black neighborhood, and they just dropped me off for the whole weekend and just hang around, walk to the park. Beginning pickup games.
That's parenting. Yeah.
You know what? To be honest, I don't know what year Roots came out, but I think she watched Roots and she was like, "You gotta get some fucking culture here." Maybe this precursor to Roots, but she's like, my mom didn't like white people, so she's like, "You better hang out with some black people," and she just dropped me off at the Boyd's house.
Good. I'm glad you.
Did they know you were coming?
Oh yeah,
Adam's here. What?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question since you're white? I want to ask all the white folks listening.
And by the way, for them, it was refreshing to have a white friend who had a shittier house than them. Like it was unique but refreshing.
Yeah, I grew up. My neighborhood changed. So all these guys grew up in my neighborhood. Finally, you see them when they get older. They all live in Long Island now. But it just make you get out of that neighborhood. Okay, why are white folks so upset with Paula Deen?
Oh, are we upset with Paula Deen?
Yeah, because I don't think any black people own any of those companies she got released from.
Oh, yeah. I think that the deal is here's what we do. I mean, what white people do. You guys should do this too. Like, if you get a mayor,
have a meeting.
No, what I'm saying is, like, if your mayor gets caught smoking crack with a hooker, don't go like, "Now we've all made mistakes." Just go fuck that guy. Like that's what we get away from those people. Like, we don't go, "Listen, Anthony Weiner deserves his time." We're pretty much we can get away.
Yeah. I'm
just saying to brothers, go ahead and get some distance to whoever's fucking up. And Paula Deen, what we do is there's a new thing now where we don't want to get judged with the person. As a little bit of mob mentality, a little bit of just sort of piling on, a little pig pile, little somebody gets knocked down and everyone just starts kicking them. And so we want to make sure that nobody thinks we're racist. So that if we go over the top.
It's a game we play called Smear the Racist.
Right. If we condemn her, the more I condemn Paula Deen, the less racist you'll think I am, and the more I do it in a public forum, the better I seem. So there's two ways you can kind of make yourself seem like a good person or evolved person or a non-racist or bigoted or whatever it is. You can sit around and talk about how much you love other races and what a non-bigot you are, but that doesn't work that well. Or you can wait for other people, broadcasters and chefs and folks like that, to slip up and then pile on and go, "That's disgusting. Nobody should ever." But we did the same thing with kind of like Alec Baldwin and his kid and that kind of stuff too. We take little opportunities.
Like no one's ever called their kid a name.
Right.
Or
right.
called them a name to the, little knucklehead, things like that.
We use these little opportunities to congratulate ourselves by condemning the actions of others in a way that's probably a little more grandiose than it needs to be. Leave
Paula Deen alone.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, she does cook a lot of animal. She makes a lot of flesh.
Yeah, you know,
She's a flesh eater.
I was going on that show, and I was supposed to take a couple of her recipes and make them vegan without butter, but with better butter, like Earth Balance and all these different things. And then all those white folks kicked her out of every business they can possibly get her into.
Yeah.
And the picture of her on my Instagram literally has more hits than anything else. Black people go, what do you think about her now? I go, like, y'all didn't ever think that white people said that word when they're ever? Like, she said it in 1987.
I screamed it at the Boyd Brothers.
Is that before or after your conversion to black with them?
No, it was during my conversion of black with them, because this is I don't know how you grew up, but these guys all do the A version, but they all call themselves nigga all the time. Mm-hmm. That's how they refer to them. Each other, back and forth, every time. And if one of them did a little shake and bake on the other one and left the other one in the dust and scored a touchdown, it was just, nigga, you got left in the dust.
Yes.
And that's how they talked.
That's how they talk down south, too.
Each
That's
other,
my point.
back and forth, nonstop. Mm-hmm. And after about 3 days of that, when I did a little shake and bake, that's what I said. And then they all stopped and looked at me. It was a great moment. That one.
One of my best friends in college, Scott Petway, is a white kid. I mean, red hair, freckles. And he was around us for so long, just hanging with us. And somebody said something, and he was like, nigga, please. Right. And the room got silent. And then I started laughing. And then everybody else started laughing. And it was like, all right, yeah, at least you said it at the right time.
Right. But, I mean, this literally goes back 30 years.
Right.
This
and she
is 30
goes
years.
back. I had to get on this show to say it. She admitted to saying it in 1987 and was crucified in 19. If we were to go back and find out every word that any white person has ever said that was derogatory, or any black person, no one would be in a job. Everybody, they act like this is not the country that started racism. Like this is not the place it's built upon. They act like we've never heard it. That's what I don't understand. So I want all you white folks to know, Paula Deen didn't offend us. Y'all just didn't want her to have a job.
She didn't
anymore.
offend us either, as much as we reacted.
Yes.
We just went over the top, and
There's a lot of over the top.
A lot over the
See,
top.
that's what I've been thinking, that's suddenly concerned about. That what if all this stuff that we've been talking about lately is just white people condemning other white people, and actually the minorities that we're talking about don't give a fuck.
They don't. I say, I'm not gonna say they don't give a fuck. They pay attention once it's brought up. I tell people all the time. I know Reverend Sharpton, and before we talked about what went on in Texas the first time when no one heard about it. No one heard about it for 3 weeks. They had to find him and beg him to come down and bring some light to it. And I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying that black people for years have been going with the flow, seeing how things are, see it, understand, identify who that person, and we keep it moving. Well, I watch right now, every time I go to do something funny on my podcast or do something on my Twitter, I gotta think like, okay, they get mad at comedians for saying funny things right now. I'm not getting paid to be a comedian. I got to watch every single thing. It's not even
Who's
fun.
the they that you're talking about here?
Whoever can take a check out of my pocket is a they.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. It's a sort of form of extortion, which is the company will just cut bait with the person they're dealing with because they don't want to deal with 1 ounce
controversy.
of anything. They'll just be gone. I mean,
that's why I like your podcast. You're funny, and I always tell you that because you literally say what's funny, and I guess you think about it, but you say what's funny and true. A lot of times they get offended by the truth. A lot of people get offended by the truth. I just spoke at UCLA, and it was about obesity and childhood obesity. And there was a lot of people in there that had some obesity situations going on. So I had to pick how I talked about it.
Right.
So I said, not that I want you guys to be skinny. I just want you to be healthy. And that's what it really is. I just want people to be healthy, be at that point. So I had to pick the words as opposed to, you shouldn't do this, don't eat this. I just like, man, if you know when you eat vegetables, you lose weight, you should eat more vegetables. That's it. That's all I say. The more vegetables you eat, the better. I don't tell them not to eat meat. I just say eat more vegetables.
What is your regiment? What do you do for breakfast? I know you rip a bong load, but then then when it comes time to eat,
I must wake and bake and
Right.
Blue Dream. Anybody wants to send some over? Then I have like hot ginger tea with coconut oil. I have field roast, which is like a sausage, but it's grain meat. Grits. I make grilled cheese, but I don't use regular cheese. I use veggie cheese, cashew cheese.
So far, only one of these things was on Mama Boyd's menu in the morning. I'm not going to say which one, but you may have mentioned one.
But when
that was
you
on
look at
Mama
when you look
Boyd's
at the
menu.
food, when you look at the food, it looks just like it looks like the nasty dead carcass sausage you eat, but mine is just grain meat.
Right. What do we do? What do we do for lunch?
I eat a lot of greens. I drink a lot of alkaline water anytime. I eat like 3-4 hours every 3 hours, every 4 hours. As long as it comes off a plant out of the ground, I'll eat it.
What's a dinner, and what is a celebration graduation dinner for vegan? You know what I mean? Because I'm not a massive meat eater, but I'll go out and have a big porterhouse steak if there's a big to-do or something like that. What will you do?
And you'll be really slow for the next 3 days. I'm like, tonight is my daughter's Tyler's birthday. She's 17. So we're going to Crossroads, which is a vegan restaurant by Tal Rogan on Melrose. And Travis Barker is part owner. So we'll go in there and he'll
Blink. Wait a minute. Yeah, Blink 182. Yeah,
and it will design. And he designs food, it's vegetables in different ways, and it's a really, really cushy, nice place. You got native foods, which is my favorite, which I would call a fast food or a quick thing. Got that in.
Adam, have you been to a vegan restaurant?
No, I don't think I have. And
there's some great ones here in LA.
I'd like to go.
Yeah.
Is there
Native Foods? You go to Native Foods
Cafe
first.
Gratitude. You ever been there?
But that's raw, and that's good too. It's vegan raw, but. Adam, you want to go and get things like chicken fingers and Oklahoma bacon burger and all that, but those are the same names, and it has the same taste. It's just not
really same taste.
Same taste.
It's remarkably so. The best thing that I get there at these places is like fake nachos because they put a ton of seasoning on them, and it's a minor texture difference, but it's tastes very, very
similar.
I'm
going to try this out. You give me the names for we leave.
How long have you been vegan?
6 years today.
Today.
Happy vegan-versary. What do you guys say? I mean vegans.
Happy Tuesday.
So on your daughter's 11th birthday,
right?
That's when you began.
Oh, it was a fight in the
family. How much weight did you drop?
I dropped 31 pounds. Well, yeah, I was 274.
Which is like a large BM for you. Medium to large. There's a big fight in the family?
Yeah, man. My wife's like, I'm vegetarian. I'm not giving up birthday cakes and I'm not giving up that. And I was like, okay. I'm not cooking it, and it can't be in my refrigerator.
Did she call you a cornball brother?
It can't be in my refrigerator.
Can't be in my. I do the cooking in the house.
Can't be in the fridge.
I don't want that in like I tell people, my body is not a coffin for decaying carcasses. This is not, and I'm not going to have my refrigerator be the morgue. So I don't want it in my refrigerator. Not gonna
Were you vegetarian and then you went? Okay.
I was a vegetarian, but yeah, definitely. Think about it. I tell you, if meat, as this lady said, I don't care what you say. Meat is good. I like the taste of meat. I said, then eat it raw with no seasoning. Let's see what happens.
All right, I'm going to check out one of these places. Let's do some news, baby girl.
The news with Alison Rosen.
She'll read some news from her iPad. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. It's Alison. And when it's time to wrap it up, she'll sign it off with zip it cunt. It's Alison.
So in New York, a New York appeals court has struck down the ban on large sugary sodas. So they're saying that the ban on the sugary sodas is arbitrary and capricious. Now, Bloomberg is saying this is just the beginning. But for right now, that ban has been struck down.
Yeah, I'm really torn here because I do like the idea of them putting up things like caloric counts and things like that at fast food places and that kind of stuff. On the other hand, I have this feeling that you really need to be in charge yourself.
Right.
You got to count your own calories.
But sugar's addictive.
It is. And so are cigarettes, and so is booze, and so is sex, and so is a whole bunch of shit.
I don't believe the sex thing. Drew and I argue on that. I don't think that's addictive.
All right. You do what you got to do, John.
Yes.
The point is this. The point is, at a certain point, you want the government to go, look, we're going to regulate air traffic controllers, or, we're going to have certain standards and certain things like that. The part where they really have to get in and start feeding the kids and doing the PSAs about kids getting fat and stuff, once we lose that, we've lost that. Like at a certain point, your parents, you have to take responsibility. Yes, there's something called a 22-ounce Mountain Dew. You're not supposed to drink 3 a day. You're going to get fat. We could put it in a 16-ounce container, and then you might drink 4 of them in a day. You're going to find a way. It's sort of the same argument with drugs. They're out there. It's up to you to stay away from those things and to come from a family system that helps you with that. I just don't feel like banning this stuff is ever, and I'll bet you the same people, ironically, that are all for Bloomberg banning this would make the exact same argument against drugs, basically saying, look, it's out there. You can't, this prohibition is not working.
Against criminalizing drugs. You mean?
Yes. Yeah. Meaning it is the same thing. It's like, look, it's all out there. You make choices. You can't drive 10 feet without passing a fast food joint with a drive-through.
Well, now, do you mean
don't
it's the same
in.
thing slippery slope-wise? Because it's limiting the container, not really the substance.
I guess what I'm saying is there's a problem. It's kids being fat. It's adults being fat. And when the government gets involved and goes, we're going to try to handle this, then you tend to sit back and go, yeah, you guys handle that, and then you get fatter. I don't want you in a you guys handle that mode. I want to go find a fucking full-length mirror, strip down the underpants, never stop throwing up, see your titties and your stretch marks on the dudes, and then go, fuck, I get my shit together.
Self-responsibility.
That's what I want. And I feel like each time the government takes one step forward, we take one step toward the sofa when it comes to that. And their heart's in the right place. They're like, we need to address this problem, but they're never going to have the time or the resources to fully address it. It's like if everybody wanted to become a criminal, there's just not enough cops. So you're going to have to be your own sort of cop when it comes to eating. And believe you me, I would love to finish every single meal with a nice slice of apple pie a la mode. But I don't because I'll get fat.
This is the first time I'm looking at it this way, which is that usually when people are all up in arms over, like, I don't want the government telling me what to do with my soda, they're taking away my freedom, next they're coming for my light bulbs, etc., I feel like, oh, please.
Right.
You know, and I agree with you that their heart is in the right place on this one. However, it does seem like a waste of time and manpower and resources to try to police soda.
Like I said, there's nuances. For instance, like I sat next to a dude on an airplane on the way into Boston and said his friend just got like Arizona iced tea or something, and they opened a new bottling plant, and all the bottles are like 16.4 ounces, and he would have to completely retool his entire factory. And then there's another guy who owns Dunkin' Donuts. Evidently this guy runs with some pretty rich beverage dudes, and they do the pre-sweetened stuff, and they couldn't sell their light and sweet. Whereas you could go to Starbucks.
What would Dixon do?
He'd open, light and sweet, baby. He would go down to Starbucks and open 15 packets of sugar and just dump them all. It can't stop you from getting a 22-ounce coffee, and so there's always kind of. Ultimately, whether it's education, crime, or obesity, we need to find a mirror. We need to find a couple of parents that are going to instill these things, and we're going to have to start taking care of it at home. That's my deal. The government has historically done a piss poor job with those sorts of things. They're pretty decent with the air traffic control, and I don't know.
UPS.
Maybe is that them?
Remember that? Remember when UPS went to go on strike and Reagan said, you can't do that?
I thought that was the air traffic controller.
He did that? No, remember they came in and out. They gave me traffic control.
Coming down on Brown again.
Yeah, he's like, hey, not doing it.
Racist,
I need to get my stuff in.
So they're good at certain things, but they kind of like, here's how not to be a deadbeat dad, and here's not how to get fat, and here's not how. They're not so good at that. No. And that's got to kind of come from the family, and that's your thing. Look, Mama. If you have a 9-year-old and the 9-year-old is supposed to be, 81 pounds and it's 181 pounds, then Mama, when you go to the supermarket, easy with the fucking bundt cake, bitch. Just get your shit together.
Yo,
that's it.
I love you. I got to go to my daughter's 17th birthday at Crossroads.
Oh, really? Well, I'll tell you what. We'll bring this home in the next 3-4 minutes.
Vegan.
Can you wait for that,
Oh,
Johnny?
yeah.
Okay.
I just looked at the text, and she was like, "Don't be late." Like, why not? She's gonna be 17.
Yeah.
She's not even supposed to like you when she's 17.
I know.
Is
She
she?
said something weird to me the other
rush?
day. She talked to me the wrong way, and I said, "You know what? If I didn't take those anger management classes, I would have smacked you in the mouth just now."
What'd she say? What'd she say?
She was like, "Look, you know what? I just don't feel like talking to you right now, and I'm not going to talk to you right now. So when I feel like talking to you, I'll call you back." I said, "If you hang this phone up, you won't have a phone."
Sally's like, I was on the Bad Boy Pistons. You don't talk to me that way.
That's exactly what I said. I said, "Do you know I used to punch people for saying other stuff to me. You can't talk to me like that." And I was like, and I said, and then I thought about it. A house full of women. I said, "Wait a minute, what date is it?" You know, 'cause I always have to adjust when the PMS pack my suitcase week comes, and I think that's the week. So as soon as I see that, I'm out. I was like, "You know what? You're not feeling well today." "No, I'm not." I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I'll be over here on the balcony smoking weed."
And by the way, technically, if you're vegan and there's blood coming out of them, that's animal protein. They really shouldn't be in the house. I agree with you, John. That's an attack.
Hey, man, get going.
Yeah, don't.
Not in my fridge.
Take it to the fridge. It's out in the garage.
Do you want a weighty story, or do you want a light story?
Let's do a light, fluffy one, and then we'll bring it home.
A baby zonkey, half zebra, half donkey, has been born at a zoo in Italy. Its name, I believe, is Ippo. Look how cute it is.
That is cute.
Right, so that's the question. Who are these people who bred them? But no, they were just attracted to each other. And one must have climbed over a fence or something to mount the donkey or the zebra.
I don't feel like they're attracted to each other. I feel like the animal kingdom is one huge rape party. I really do. It doesn't seem consensual at all.
Suppose he might not have seduced her.
There wouldn't be a lot of there's not a lot of courting. There's not like, "Hey, you want some oats or turf and oats?"
I don't know.
Love that band. I mean, and I know they have one position, which is, "I'm going to hold you down by biting the scruff of your neck and then fuck you from behind." They're always. It never seems like the chick's that into it.
No.
I don't know.
Maybe she'll moan. And you never know, is that a distress cry?
You never see them like licking their hooves and then rubbing their nipples. you know what I mean? They always seem to be sort of miserable and grimacy. Yeah. And when the guy's done, they're never like, "Hey, man, where are you going?" They're always like...
bitchy.
Yeah, the guys have to chase them around and sort of tackle them. It's kind of rapey.
Who do you think?
Very rapey.
It's very
who do you
rapey.
think are the most chivalrous and romantic of the animals? My vote would go to the birds because they at least sing and put on some music for foreplay.
Yeah, and then there's the ones that do that like death dive where they fall.
Well, maybe you're shitting on my point a little bit.
No, they don't die. They do a dance. They do a dive.
Oh, like a ceremonial
dance. It's a
dance.
death spiral, but they don't. They try to come out of it before they hit terra firma. But they do. I don't know, what is the bird that does? They get together and they do their thing, and then they do this like death spiral, like down, and then there's those dumb animals that mate for life that give us a shitty name. People have to bring up,
Penguins?
pelicans, penguins,
fruit bats are
but they can't get laid. That's why. Believe me, if
they're
they
called
were
fruit bats,
they were professional athletes or comedians, they wouldn't be fucking mating for life. That's for goddamn sure. They're stuck on a block of ice. What the fuck you want them to do? Besides, they all look exactly the same. So, tall blondes and busty
how do we
Latinos.
really know?
Yeah, well, they care. All their choices are exactly the same. Well, of course.
What I'm saying is
John has to deal with blondes and brunettes and Hispanics and black chicks. I mean, there's all different penguins in his life.
Different worlds, too.
Yeah, different worlds.
Maybe they aren't really mating for life, and we just think they are because they all look the same.
Yeah, they're just fucking they're fucking different penguins that look exactly the same.
Exactly.
Oh, that's a good way of thinking of it.
Yeah, I like to look at it that way. All right, let's bring it home.
That's the news. I'm Alison Rosen. Zip it, cunts.
That was the news with Alison Rosen.
But I bet if they had like Yugoslavian leggy blonde penguins, they wouldn't mate for life. Those other penguins would dump their old stubby penguins and be with the hot blonde penguins.
But then all the regular penguins would try to like ban the Yugoslavian penguins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But
shit behind their back.
Yeah, but then there'd be the penguins that are into the chicks that are squatty with the big booties, you know?
Yeah. Penguin chubby chasers.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
The black of the penguins?
Yeah. You guys had a little more black than white plumage. if penguins had the kind of variety that we have, maybe they wouldn't be mating for life. That's all
Maybe,
I'm saying.
definitely they wouldn't be.
Thank you.
National Geographic on the cover talks about how bad sugar is, and I still look at National Geographic, and it has in there about the lions, and it talks about like what the female lions, like a darker mane, and they follow one lion called Seaboy and his crew fights another crew over pride. You know, if you beat that crew, if you're stronger, then you get to have sex with all the females. It's a trip that these animals go through the same bullshit humans go through.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty much they want the best seed. They want the highest quality gene seed for their offspring. So obviously they want the dominant male. Here, it turns into another thing. We want the smarter one that has more degrees and works harder and thus drives. It's not the Ferrari that they're attracted to. It's the guy who figured out a way to get the Ferrari. That's the seed.
That is the shot.
That's the seed they want. We want the high-end seed. Me and Jay Moore will turn theater coming up this Saturday. Road Hard, my movie. We're going to crack $1 million at fundanything.com/Adam Carolla. So, maybe you'll be the person that sends us over the top. Carmel, me and Dr. Drew, Sunset Theater in Carmel, August 16th. And John Salley, of course, the John Salley Show. New episodes every Wednesday on iTunes. I hope I'm on the show soon. I'll bring some Mangria. You can chug some vegan wine. And if you want to get some of the vegan wine, by the way, you can go to www.theveganwine.com. John, always great to see you.
Love,
oh,
man.
sorry.
Vegan Vine.
Vegan Vine.
Yeah. Vegan Vine wine, but you can go veganvine.com.
That is my bad.
And next time we're going
friend.
to talk about Vermax. That's my other big push.
Supplement.
So,
until next time, this is Adam Carolla for John Salley, Alison Rose, and Ball Bryan saying mahalo. Well, I do kind of want him to like me. On the other hand, I don't want to have to face my friends when they call me a slut. Hey, kiddies, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and catch any podcasts you might have missed at youtube.com/Adam Carolla. That's youtube.com/me.